What's up guys, Syiler here, and I am back with another episode of our leveling series, and you might be wondering, did I miss an episode? Is this number 4? It's actually number 3. If you're wondering what happened, because I'd like to say you haven't missed much, but this time you have. I'm level 20, and last time you watched this I was level 13. So it's a bit awkward, but I tried something different. I tried to change the style of the leveling series. I seen someone else's and it kind of inspired me. I was like, wow, that's really cool. I like that. And I tried it and it just wasn't for me. It didn't end up anywhere near as well as I thought it was going to. So I scrapped it. I was like, sod it. We're going back to the original plan. Let's go. And we ended up just scrapping the videos, which did mean you missed out on a good amount of content. I recorded about 40 minutes. So that's gone. But hey, I'm here now. You got this one instead. I mean, all you pretty much missed was me kill level like 15 mobs in Red Ridge Mountains. So yeah, now we're in Duskwood. I haven't really done Duskwood for a long time. Not since the revamp. Well, if it even got revamped with the Cataclysm stuff. It's been a really long time since I've been in this zone. So in this video, I wanted to talk first of all about why I don't play WoW as much and kind of my thoughts on WoW at the moment, stuff like that, and thoughts on Legion. And then after that, I'm going to talk about some life stuff if we've got some time left. This is probably going to be a longer episode, just because if we don't start pumping out longer episodes, this series is literally going to take me the rest of the year. So we'll keep going until, I don't think it'll make it that far, but I'm just going to keep doing it until there's no one really watching it anymore. And then when there's no one really watching it, or if I run out of things to talk about, then that'll be the kind of end of the series. I'd love to make it to 100 if we can keep it going, but we'll see. We'll play it by ear. Anyway, so I've been playing WoW since late vanilla. I started off playing Hunter as my first main, and I was playing Hunter till like till Wrath, and then I switched to Paladin because the guild needed a healer. And I like the idea of being able to like be a rep paladin, a prop paladin, a holy paladin. I really like that concept. So I ended up making paladin. So I played the game for quite a long time. Like I'm not new to the game or whatever. And I think that's a huge reason that things don't seem as fun. Like there was a period like in BC or whatever, I'd come home from school. School's so difficult, man. And I'd just sit and grind and do absolutely like nothing, just mindless stuff in World of Warcraft. And I loved it. Like it was fun to me because it was all new. It was still a fresh experience. I was still learning stuff and still like growing in the game, and it was a good time, you know. And then it kind of hit like Cataclysm, and Cataclysm's probably where I started to fall off a little bit. But BC, I absolutely love BC. I don't think I loved BC because of what was in it, but I loved it because it was the first time I'd really started raiding. Like it was, you know, I would join my first proper raiding guild, and you know, started taking things a little bit more seriously than I did in vanilla. Because in vanilla I was a complete pleb. I did nothing of importance in vanilla, while in BC I started actually doing things. You know, I'd do Karazhan, and we eventually made it to BT. And I killed a few bosses in BT when the nerf patch hit. I was really, really proud. And then Wrath came, and that's when I took the game a lot more seriously. That's when I started figuring out how to play properly and how to do, you know, proper rotations, and started looking for better guilds and stuff. And, you know, that's when the game started going a little bit downhill for me, because Wrath was still a lot of fun. I won't say that. It was probably Cataclysm where I was at the point where I started joining a lot higher end guilds, and I wanted to fully clear raid tiers and stuff. And that's probably when the game started being a little bit less fun. Although I still really enjoyed Cataclysm. The raids were great all the way up until Dragon Soul. And Dragon Soul wasn't bad, but it wasn't a year of content good, you know, like the raid was okay. It's probably, it was definitely the worst raid of the expansion in my opinion. And the fact that we had it for a year was a nightmare. Like it was okay but once I'd done it, I didn't want to do it again. There was some really, really horrible fights in there that I just had enough of. Hagara, her mythic, or not mythic, heroic at the time, being one of them. Struggled. I was playing both on EU and US at the time as well. I was raiding on an EU guild and a US guild, and yeah, man, both of the guilds struggled so badly on Hagara. I wanted to shoot myself. So that was kind of like that. And then when it hit, even in Cataclysm, I played a lot of the game. That's when I was playing a lot more PvP as well. I just kind of spam Battlegrounds all day, and that's when my stream and YouTube started taking off a lot more. That's when I started YouTube, was in Cataclysm. It was when Firelands was on the PTR, was when my channel started to become something. So I had a lot more fun as well with that, because I was playing with people like Hybrid Panda daily, doing Battlegrounds, having viewers involved, and that was a lot of fun. And then it hit Mr. Pandaria. And that's when I started taking big breaks from the game. I mean, I was taking like 2-3 month breaks. I took like 2-3 of them during the expansion. So that's when I started playing the game a lot less. And even then, when I took the breaks, I'd still come back and be hyped to play the game again. Like, I took a break during Siege of Orgrimmar and came back and was like, yes, let's go. Let's play some World of Warcraft. I'm hyped. And then towards the end, I was starting to feel a bit more burned out. And then in WoD, I absolutely loved the beginning of Warlords of Draenor. The leveling experience was fantastic, apart from the goddamn garrison issue. I would have probably been Realm First. I'm pretty sure I would have been a contender for Realm First max level. I had literally done, like, I'm not joking, I'm not over-exaggerating. I did the Tanan Jungle starting area faster than anyone on the server. I was the first person on Horde out of that starting area. There was no one else there. I couldn't see a single soul. I was that fast that when the garrison thing was broke, I was there on my own for about a minute, and I went off exploring and went and got the Gortusk, not Gortusk, but the mount that's in the zone, the boar. I just went and found him because he was alive and just chilling, because I was looking for things to do to get experience. And it hit a point, because I was doing it on US realms, it hit a point where I just didn't want to stay awake anymore. I just didn't care, because the server was really, really laggy. I'd already waited for like an hour to even continue leveling, and at that point it was bottlenecked to crap, because everyone was just kind of waiting. So I was just like, sod it, I don't even care anymore. And I went to bed and came back the next day and started leveling, which was a shame, because I really do like the leveling experience. But when you kind of lose your lead and you end up back at square one with everyone, it's just kind of like, no thanks. And when it's really laggy and stuff, I just, ugh. But the leveling experience itself was really good in Warlords of Draenor. Like, it felt a good pace. It didn't feel too long. It didn't feel annoying, or there was a lot of good quests and a lot of like fun and adventure during the leveling, like all the treasures and stuff. I thought the leveling experience was the best one I've done so far. I really, really liked it. The garrison stuff was great in the beginning. I put a lot of time into garrison stuff, and I was really pleased with like what I'd managed to do with my garrison. I got full crafted gear, like the 4 pieces. I got one, I think, fully upgraded by grinding the primal spirit, so at least close to it, like maybe like 1 under what it should be. But it was a pretty good piece of gear. And then Highmoor launched, and my garrison just felt completely useless. I'd just use it to do like a garrison mission every day, and that was it. That was literally all my garrison was there for, and that was a big issue. That was one of the biggest things that put me off Warlords of Draenor, because I put all this time into my garrison, and then all of a sudden it just became useless. So I don't know. That was weird. I don't know where things went wrong with the garrison, but there was a few things that they said that was going to be in the garrison as well that sounded awesome, but it never really made it. So that was a shame. The garrison could have been a lot more, and it just fell short of what it could have been. It was a great idea on paper, but it just didn't live up to it, which was a shame. And then there was less stuff to do in the world in Warlords of Draenor. Like, you didn't need to really grind for anything. Professions weren't really relevant. So the kind of idle stuff to do while you're just chilling, like not raiding and stuff, it didn't really feel like it was there. But on the other hand, Warlords of Draenor did do it a lot better in other areas, like the challenge mode stuff was great, and the raid content has been amazing this expansion. Like, don't get me wrong, Warlords of Draenor has done a lot of things right as well. Where it's done things wrong, it's done multiple things right as well. And I wouldn't say that's the reason I've quit. Like, it's not because Warlords of Draenor's been bad. It's mainly just because of how long I've played the game. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I just don't get as excited to play. Like, right now, if it wasn't for this leveling series and One Legion TV, I don't think I'd even be playing WoW. I don't think I'd have any reason to log on at all. I just don't care as much for stuff. I don't care about the mount grinding or the pet grinding and stuff anymore. It's just not as fun. I'm enjoying doing this leveling series just because I haven't really played too much, and it's more just jump on for 20 minutes every other day and have a chat. Like, this is fine. I don't mind. Like, it's not like I'm hating doing this. I'm enjoying it, but I just don't have the urge to sit and play WoW all day like I used to. And I wish I did. I really, really wish I did, because right now, the only game I'm really playing is League of Legends. And if you've played League or you played any kind of competitive game, you'll know that it's not always fun to play. The game's fun, but the competitiveness isn't, all the time at least. Like, when you're winning, it's great, I love it. But when you're losing, it's not as fun, and when you're on a losing streak, it is horrible. It is the worst feeling ever. Like, there was a period where I lost like 8 games in a row, and then came back and won 2, and then lost another 6. Like, I just felt like crap, because I'm trying to push for, well, I'd like to push for Diamond this season, and right now I'm Plat 4. So, going on losing streaks like that just, oh man, it feels bad. It feels really, really bad. So, but the difference between League and WoW is WoW was always there as a game. Like, there's points where you don't feel as good playing WoW, but in general, it's a lot more smooth, if that makes sense. Like, you might feel a bit crappy if you don't kill a raid boss or something, but it's only there for a short period, you know? Like, you can go and do other things in WoW. While League, you don't really have that luxury. I don't care about ARAM or normals. I just want to play ranked and, you know, get my rank up. That's literally all I play League for. I don't touch normal modes pretty much ever, unless I'm maybe playing with some friends or not on stream or something, but outside of that, I don't touch it. And that was one thing I really enjoyed Arcade for, because it felt like there was always something to do. There was this, like, there was no real PvE content. So, well, actually there was dungeons, but I wouldn't really class them as like proper PvE content. But most of your gear came from like the crafting system. You had to go and grind money or mats or gold or whatever and get your gear that way. So I'd just be spending hours like doing trade runs and getting gold and building up my professions and making the gear that I wanted, you know, testing fate with the regrade system, and it was good. It's a little bit too hardcore though, and the issue with Arcade is if you slack at any point or you get really unlucky, you fall behind quite a bit. Like, if your eye level isn't on par with other people, it's really noticeable, and that's just kind of what slowly pushed me off the game, because I just didn't. It got to a point where I was kind of burnt out from playing like 10 plus hours a day, and I just didn't want to do that anymore. But you take a break, you come back, and it's so hard to catch up. And then I came back to the game again when it did the new server launch, and that was a lot of fun. Once again, I played with pretty much the same people, had a blast for like a month, 2 months, and then I felt the same again. I was like, okay, I'm done now. That's enough. But I'd love for a game to fill that void again. I'd love for it to be World of Warcraft. I really, really would. If World of Warcraft can bring me back to this game, playing it every day for like 10 hours plus, go for it. I would not mind at all, because it means I can get back on track with making WoW content all the time, and I can have something to permanently do. But right now I don't have that. Like, there's no real game that draws my attention that I can just sit and play, you know, with no negatives like League of Legends. Like, if I'm tilted on League or I'm not in the frame of mind for ranked, I just don't play because I don't want to lose. So I don't really have a game to play outside of that. As I said, WoW, there's nothing really bringing me in right now. Like, at this expansion, Warlords of Draenor, I unsubbed from WoW on EU really, really early on. I was only playing on US. I unsubbed from EU like 2-3 months into the expansion because I just didn't really have any interest in playing on 2 servers. I had no real reason to, like previous expansions. And then I went to work in the Philippines for like 5-6 months, which I've talked about before. And I came back because I couldn't really play WoW over there. I had like 200 MS, and I managed to play a little. Maybe I probably played about 10 hours of WoW total while I was over there. So not very much. And then I came back, and I was a little bit hyped to play WoW, and I played for like 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not really, whatever, you know. The love wasn't as strong as it used to be. So, and then some issues happened with my US account as well, and that was kind of like the nail in the coffin. Since then, I've not really played. I resubbed my EU account so I could carry on making videos for One Legion and stuff at like more of a casual pace, but outside of that, I just don't really play. As I said, like outside of these videos, I'm not really on the game too much. I'll occasionally log on. When I say occasionally, like maybe every 2-3 weeks, I'll log on and do my mount stuff like Firelands and ICC. But it's rare. I used to do that on multiple characters each week, and now I can barely be bothered doing it on one character. And I would love for WoW to do that again. In terms of Legion, obviously I've got Legion Access, I've been playing some of that, and I think the game has done a lot right. There's not really much in Legion, apart from one major thing, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I think the game's done a lot right so far. Like the PvE content looks great, the artifact story stuff is good as well, the zones are great. Once again, it has like the treasures and stuff, which are always fun for leveling. We got... Yeah, I think they've just like bumped up all the fun things that we had in Legion and kind of scraped away the bad that people didn't like, or at least some of it. And the PvP system looks amazing. The new prestige system, and the fact that the stats dynamically scale in PvP, and they can dynamically scale them, basically meaning say BM Hunter is OP, they can tweak BM Hunter only in PvP and bring it down to everyone else's level, and it doesn't affect PvE. And that was one big issue that the game's had for such a long time, that they'd nerf a character, they'd nerf a class because of PvE or PvP, and it would kill the other one. Like it might not need nerfing in PvP, but because they needed to nerf it in PvE, it's now bad in PvP. Or it might be the other way around, you know, it's too strong in PvP, but now you've nerfed it and now it's garbage in PvE. It's like worse DPS. And there was always that weird balance. But now that they've got the new system, it was great. Like, the first day they added 110 PvP, it was a nightmare. It was like, what is this? Why have they even added this to the game right now? The game is not ready for this. Marksman hunters were one-shotting people. Tanks were unkillable. It was just like, what? Why? What are they doing? Like, I was worried. I was like, this expansion's gonna be terrible. And then 3-4 days later, I logged on, and it was like a completely different game. It really was. It was like, what? Every class was a lot more balanced. Like, Enhance felt great. It was good. It was really, really good. The new system is great. So if you're a PvPer, I think you're gonna like Legion. I think it's that. Or at least I'm not sure how arena stuff's gonna be. I assume arena stuff's gonna be better as well. I'd like to think so, but casual PvP is definitely gonna be a lot better. Once again, at least I hope it will be. I feel it's gonna be. The one thing that worries me a little bit at the moment is how much each class has been dumbed down. Every class has about 2 pages of spells maximum, and that's including the passives as well. So you got like look at the spell book right now. I'm already, look how many pages. There's 4 pages without talents. In Legion, there's just 2, you know? And that's including things like Flare and Farsight or Eagle Eye, whatever. So these like weird, just class specific spells that don't really do anything. They're still in the game as well, some of those. So it cuts down how many actual spells you have. Each class has like 2 to 3 main spells, like 1 cooldown, 1 offensive spell, 1 defensive spell, and 1 like utility spell. That's pretty much it for most classes. And that's a little bit worrying because someone who mains a class or a spec is probably going to get worn out a lot faster. It's going to be great for people who like to multi-class and multi-spec. It's going to be great. It's going to be great for those people because they're going to be able to do it a lot easier. It's going to take a lot less time to learn and pick up new specs and classes. But in terms of just maining one thing, it's going to be weird. Like they've really dumbed down things quite a lot, and it's a little bit worrying. Especially with the fact that artifact weapons are going to be, at least so far, they might change all this, remember it's still alpha. Artifact weapons currently are going to be a pain in the ass to get a second one for your second spec. So say you build up your first one, you're going to have to pretty much start again on a second one. And that's just not going to be a good idea. You seriously need to have it so they can easily swap between them without losing, you know? Like think of it like a mage. It is pretty crucial for pure DPS specs to be able to swap specs. And if they can't because they're limited to the weapon, it's just gonna hurt the game a lot. Especially, as I said, with things being more dumbed down. The only way higher end raiders and stuff are gonna enjoy the class is to be able to play the class to its fullest and play all the specs. But if they're gonna gimp themselves by swapping spec because their artifact weapon's trash, they're just not gonna do it. They're going to have to go and grind like 2-3 weapons worth of artifact power, which is not going to be fun. So they definitely need to implement something that helps with that. Otherwise, it's going to be I'm concerned. That is my biggest concern with the expansion so far. Everything else looks great though. Like the storyline looks great. Visually, the game looks great once again. A lot of the stuff like they've implemented for like lore and questing and stuff, it just feels good. But I'd say that is the thing I'm most concerned about right now. So we'll just have to see how that ends up going. So that is pretty much my thoughts on WoW right now. Like, I've not quit WoW necessarily because I think the game's bad right now. It's more just because I'm worn out. And if anyone has any suggestions for a game that I might like, and I've played a lot of games, so chances are something you suggest I've already tried. But yeah, if there's something in particular, but actually, what I'd like to know is how long you've been playing World of Warcraft for, and if you're still playing, and if you're not playing anymore, what you're currently playing. Because I think a lot of people who have stopped playing are probably a lot older players. Like maybe, I'd say probably like Wrath players and downwards are the people who are starting to quit. And like Cataclysm onwards are the people that are still in the game. At least most of them. That's what I'd like to imagine. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of like how I'd look at it. The people who've only been playing for like 3 or 4 years are probably still around. And the people who have been playing for a lot longer than that are probably starting to flop off just because there's no way you can stay interested in one thing for that long. It's just not, it's not human, you know? There's some people who can do it, but most people are just going to get burnt out after that time, and you can't really complain. If you manage to get that many years out of one game, that's impressive. It really is. I would love to go back to being like innocent though, when I had no idea how WoW worked and stuff. That was the best time I've ever had in the game, just because it was all still a learning experience. So yeah, I'd love to know if you've quit WoW, how and if you're still playing, and how long you've been playing the game for. And if you have quit, I'd love to know what you're actually playing now to fill the void. See if there's any of those games that I'd be interested in trying. We're gonna go for another few minutes. We're gonna try and get another couple of levels. As I said, I want this series to start getting somewhere before it gets kind of too much. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was just kind of like life stuff, what I'm doing at the moment, and YouTube and stuff like that. Just because a lot of people, maybe not as much anymore, but people used to ask me like, oh, do you do streaming and YouTube as a job? Like, oh, you must earn a lot. And in reality, it takes a lot to earn a lot from YouTube. Like, even when my channel was at its peak, getting like 200, 300k views a month, which isn't amazing, but it was a decent amount. Even then, I was only earning probably $400-ish just from YouTube stuff, which is a nice amount. I mean, between YouTube and streaming at the time when I was doing all of that seriously, I was able to pay my bills, my rent, and have a little bit of money to be happy. So that was great. Like, that's all I needed it for. But it's not a crazy amount. Like, if I wanted to move out, because I'm still living at home and I pay rent here, I pay out about £400 a month for everything, which is, is good. If I wanted to move out, I'd definitely have to get like a part-time job or something, and I'm just not really interested in it right now, especially with the concept of having to like room share with people. If it was people I knew, I wouldn't mind it too much, but I'm not really much of an outside person, so I'd much rather just either stay with people I know, get my own place, or just stay here where I'm paying rent and I've got my own space, do what I want. So yeah, in terms of all that kind of stuff, like, I guess we'll go back to the beginning. Like, I started doing YouTube in Cataclysm. Well, actually, before that, I had a WoW website that I'd started, and it was terrible. I had no idea how to make a website, I had no idea how to grow a website, so that idea died pretty quickly. And then YouTube started becoming a lot more popular, so I got involved in that. I actually got into the Cataclysm beta, and I was going to make videos on it, but I just didn't know how. Like, I didn't know what to do, and I felt like my videos were going to be bad, so I just didn't really bother. What are we doing here? Exactly. I'm not too sure, to be honest. Stolen letters. Stash of letters in one of the huts. 1 second, let me get this done. Oh, there we go. I'm freaking blind. So I just didn't know how, and it ended up being in the Firelands patch on the PTR that I actually understood YouTube a lot more, and it was the point where I wanted to start doing it, a bit better, and I felt like I could. I got a bit of a better PC as well, so it felt, it felt like the time to do it. And then I started doing my channel. Joined TGM, was doing stuff over on TGM WoW, which I absolutely loved. I loved doing TGM WoW so much. The people over there were great. Well, most of the people over there were great to do stuff with. And then I met a lot of really cool people online, like Hybrid Panda and people like that. I've met a lot of really, really cool people from doing what I do. Like, if you were to say to me, like, oh, could you take it back and, not do it and go get a proper job or whatever, I'd definitely not. I'd definitely change the way I did things, but I wouldn't not do this, because I like it way too much. But it's not for everyone, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot more than a normal job to earn a lot less. Like, it's a lot more hours you have to put in to get a lot less out of it, and not many people are willing to do that. They think they can just post a video that took them like 2 minutes because they were recording some Minecraft and get famous on YouTube. And then my channel built up, and then it got to the point where I wanted to move out of just doing videos, and I wanted to create something. And that's when I made Ace Games TV. Some of you might remember it. It was a community channel with the idea of turning it into a YouTube network at some point. And that was kind of my vision for that, because I wanted to help people get somewhere on YouTube. That was the goal. So the people who joined Ace Games, we'd chat with, and I'd give them any input I thought they could do with the channel, and they'd upload to Ace, and they'd get some promotion out of it, and it was good. Ace grew to about 6,000 subscribers in less than 3-4 months, and that was mainly because of DayZ, but that's really good growth considering how long it took me to grow my channel. Ace's growth was insane, and it felt good. It felt like I'd actually learned something from YouTube and I was getting somewhere. And then once Ace hit about 6K and we had a few people making videos and stuff, I was like, all right, let's start thinking about turning this into a network. So I started reaching out to people. I reached out to BBTV, Broadband TV, which is the owners of TGN, about their subnetwork program. And we did all the interviews, did all the paperwork, stuff like that. And then they basically just said, yeah, we're not accepting any more subnetworks. It was about a 3-month wait as well after And we finally got a response, and they're like, yeah, no, we're not interested. So that was a bit crap. And then Ace kind of died down. People stopped making videos as much. It was weird that when we got the channel partnered, because partnership was still a little bit, difficult to get back then. People stopped making videos. They were happy to do it for free, and then when we were going to start giving them the money their videos earned, which was decent, videos were getting a few thousand views every time, they weren't interested. People just stopped making videos. So Ace eventually became Metro's personal channel, and I just give it over to him. And from there, I reached out to a company called Stratix, which was like a fan site. It was mainly Ultima Online, which is a really old MMO. But they used to have a World of Warcraft section, which was pretty popular way back, like BC-ish. It was pretty popular, and it just died out. People didn't manage it anymore. So I said I would. Where is this? Where am I? I remember you in the mountain. There we go. So I approached them and I was like, hey, are you looking to restart your WoW section? I'm a WoW YouTuber. I had like maybe 20k subscribers or whatever at the time. And they were like, yeah, sure, we definitely would love to start it up again. So I took on this task of basically turning WoW Stratix back into a thing. It was getting pretty much 0 impressions, which means, no one was looking at the site anymore. They started a brand new YouTube channel. And I built it up. I built it up to like a few hundred impressions a day. The YouTube channel grew to 2,000 subscribers in like a 2-3 month period as well. It was really good. It was going really, really well. I was really impressed with the progress we've made. And all of a sudden, the owner of Stratix sold it on, and it was like, whoa, what's going on? And basically, the people who were in charge of the Ultima Online section, which was the biggest contributor to it. It was like what it was known for. They basically didn't like the way things were going, and once they took over, they were like, yeah, you're not getting paid anymore. You can stay if you want, but you can do this for free. And I was like, well, I'm not putting full-time, work into this to not get anything out of it. So I just left. It was sad to do because I put a lot of time into it and built it up, and they just left it to rot once again. But that was that. Basically, Taylor got pushed out. He got pushed into a sale, and yeah, that was the end of that one. And then a bit later on, Taylor created Nubist, which was like a nerdy news site. So we approached him, me and Metro, approached him with the idea of making a network under the brand, and we created the network as a sub-network under Freedom because it was the easiest place to do it, and the Freedom had a good concept. Like I really like the idea of no locking contracts, to be honest. I absolutely hate that TGen locks you in for a year. I don't think it's obviously when you join a network, you shouldn't be planning on leaving anyway. But you should have the option to leave. You shouldn't be tied down for a year, because if an opportunity comes along, you can't take it. It's really, really bad. So I like the idea of no lock-in. I think that's the way things should be. So we made it under Freedom, and we were going for about a year. Things were going okay. They weren't going that well. Actually, we were going for about half a year, and then I got approached by George, who's the owner of Freedom, to go and work in the Philippines. And help out with their like partner perks and MGM, which was their gaming brand. And I thought about it, and I was like, all right, yeah, sure, I'll do it, because I didn't want to pass up the chance. I didn't want to regret not doing it. So I went and did it. Wasn't really for me. I came back, and when I came back, I pushed Nubist really, really, really hard, like really hard. But by then, my YouTube channel was pretty much dead because I'd not made videos properly for 6 months. And before then, I was fairly inactive anyway because of the Stratix stuff that I was working on. So my YouTube was pretty much dead, so I wasn't really earning anything from that. And as I said, when I came back from the Philippines, I didn't really feel too motivated to play WoW that much, so it made it double difficult. But I worked really hard on Nubist TV to get it, going again, or at least going better than it was while I was in the Philippines. And it came to December, the end of December, and Nubist was gonna be going up for sale again, or not again, but it was gonna be going up for sale because Taylor he was done with like internet stuff. He just didn't want to, run it anymore. And I didn't want it to see it get passed into the hands of like a random guy who just wanted to turn it into a quick book, because you'll get a lot of people who buy sites and then they'll just sell them off for like monetary gain at some point. So me and Metro banded together and we ended up putting in an offer to buy it. And when we bought it, it was making a negative, not like it wasn't earning us any money, we were losing money, but that's how our business works. So after that, and we were paying for, we didn't buy it full out, like we didn't buy it straight out. Instead we done like a monthly payment plan, although we owned the company from day one. I made sure that was, part of the deal. Like, we own it from day one, there's no way this can be turned around on us, but if we don't pay up, then we can be taken to court, so obviously we're going to pay. So we pay each month for the purchase costs, and we also pay for the site fees, and then, the random other tidbits. So at first it was making a negative money, it was costing us money to run, and then 2 months in, it's making a profit. So that's already good, we've already turned it around to the point it's making a profit. But right now, obviously, things are a bit rough because I've used pretty much all the money that I had reserved from the Philippines, that I'd saved up and stuff from like working over there. So I just got to keep kind of like stretch out until it starts making enough money for me to be like comfortable. And not even like good, just enough to pay off my bills and stuff. That's all I ever want. Like, I don't really care for fancy stuff, as long as I've got enough money to maybe get a takeaway every once in a while, buy some skins in League every couple of weeks. I'm happy with that. I don't really need money past that. I don't go out or go drinking or whatever very, very often. Like once every 3 months maybe. So I just gotta go try and like hold out, but it's probably gonna get to the point where I need to go and get a part-time job just to keep things going. But if that's what I need to do to make Nubist work, then that's a sacrifice as well I'm willing to kind of do. And it's not like I've never worked a job before. I went to college, I dropped out, went to an apprenticeship instead because it was more for me. I'm not one of those people that likes to sit in a classroom and do that kind of thing. I finished my apprenticeship, went and worked for O2 as a customer service agent, and I've actually got some funny stories from that. I might tell them next video. Worked there for about 6 months, went and applied as a IT technician for Fujitsu, like a tech support. I was working there for a bit, and they used to have 2 buildings right next to each other, and they decided they were selling off one building and putting all the staff into the other building. So basically the higher tier support people were basically taking on 70-80% of our job. They were going to do both. So a lot of staff got fired, and I was one of them that got let go. And the worst part was they knew what they were getting into. Like, they knew what they were doing. Obviously, they knew what they were doing. But they'd brought us all on as temp staff with the promise that 6 months down the line we'd become permanent. And it got to like 5.5 months, and they were like, "Yep, you're done. You're not getting that wage. You're not getting the wage increase. You're not becoming permanent. You're done." And it was like, "Oh, okay, all right, well, see ya." So yeah, I've definitely worked jobs. I just haven't worked anything that I've really enjoyed, apart from the online stuff. Like, I absolutely love doing the online stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much where things are now. Like, Nubist is mine. Building up the website in terms of the nerd side and the YouTube side, the network. The network is something I'm proud of because we only have 200 partners, but that's by choice. If I wanted, I could I definitely know I could recruit easily 100 odd people a month, but it'd be spamming low channels. Like, I just go around spam recruiting. And that's not what I'm interested in, because I don't want these people that just upload like Let's Play 6 million, you know. I don't want those channels that don't put any thought into what they're doing. They're not trying to be different, they're just trying to, I don't know, I don't even know what they're trying to do, to be honest. If you're one of those people that literally just records yourself playing a game, then it's not really making a video, you're just happening to record it, you know, if that makes sense. Like, you're not doing anything that people are going to find. There's literally less than 1% chance of your channel getting successful from literally just recording Let's Plays. Sorry to put it out there and kill off a lot of people, but it's just the way YouTube is. Like, especially with Twitch as well, the Let's Play like market on YouTube is pretty much not there. I mean, even me doing this WoW Let's Play, I'm not doing this to get viewers. I know the only people who are going to watch this are people who are already subscribed. That's literally the only people I'm making this video for. I'm not making it to get external viewers, because it just won't. There's way too many people doing the same thing. And that's kind of where I like the idea of Nubist, because we bring on a handful of people every week, and we train them up. I train them in everything they want to know, like SEO, branding, whatever, and I give them all the knowledge that I picked up over the years, like working on my own channel, working on the community channel, working for Freedom. And the ones that actually listen and put in the effort have become successful. We've got like 3 or 4 really, really successful channels right now under us. So it's starting to get somewhere. Like, those are the channels that are making us earn a profit. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're at today. So that is my story. No copy pastorino. But yeah, I don't even know why I decided to tell what's been going on, but hey, that's where we're at. So as I said, I'd love to get back into WoW, and I'd love for that to be something I do still, but I just don't see it happening. So I'm not too sure where my YouTube ventures will be next. Obviously, the network is still going to be the main focus, but I definitely still would like to make videos. I'm just not too sure on what. I've got some ideas for some League of Legends videos that I think would be pretty good. It's just whether I can pull them off, because I'm not someone who's very good at the comment, you know, the funny commentary and stuff. I'm good at guides because it's not difficult. You don't need a certain personality for guides. You just need a clear voice. But the type of content I plan on doing might not suit me. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for this episode. So we're 40 odd minutes in. We're going to call it a day there. We managed to get to level 24 and a bit. Nearly 25. And yeah. Anything you want to ask or want me to talk about next episode, let me know. We need staff for Nubist. We need volunteer writers, especially gaming writers. And also need recruiter, which isn't volunteer, it's actually a paid position. But yeah, that's everything really. So thanks for watching, guys. Look out for more videos coming soon. See ya.